So you got one of our sisters here that work in the healthcare industry. She is giving a warning to men about why you should not sign a birth certificate. Let's go ahead and roll that.
This one is for the fellas, and hear me well. Fellas, if you get a woman pregnant and she has that baby, do not sign that birth certificate, okay? Do not sign the birth certificate. I don't care if she's your wife, your fiance, your girlfriend. I don't care what she is. I don't care how sweet and how much in love you are with her. Do not sign that birth certificate, okay? Don't set yourself up like that. Do not sign a birth certificate until DNA can prove that that's your child. It's some nasty, sneaky, deceitful women out here in this world, okay? Don't you do that. Don't do it. So I knew this guy. He married this woman. For a couple years, they were married. They had a baby. It was a little boy. This is the dad's first child. He named him after him. He was a junior. Some time go by. The little boy's features start coming out. Looks nothing like the dad. And you know, that's okay. Sometimes genetics are funny. Think nothing of it. But he doesn't look like the mother either, mind you. So whatever. But then the dad's family, sisters, are telling him, hey, this little boy is not my nephew. He doesn't look anything like us. You know, kind of like harshly. This is not our blood. He doesn't look like us. You should get a DNA test. He takes their advice, goes get a DNA test. The DNA results read that he is not the father. So yeah, his wife cheated on him with another man, got pregnant from him, lied to him and said he was the father. He was not the father. So for 8 years, he's been taking care of this little boy, thinking that this little boy was his. Built this relationship, this bond with this little boy for 8 years. Imagine the hurt, right? And to make matters worse, the state now tells you that you have to pay child support for 18 years. Well, 10 years. Why? Even though the DNA says that I am not the father, he has to pay child support because he signed the birth certificate. Yeah. That's how they do it. So, you have to pay child support for this child even though he's not yours because you signed the birth certificate. And if you don't pay, we're going to take your license. You can go to jail, even prison, if you don't pay. How's that? Again, fellas, be careful and don't sign that birth certificate. Don't do it.
I have been saying forever that they need a law where they do mandatory DNA testing at birth. Mandatory. The reason why I believe you should do mandatory DNA testing at birth, it would eliminate all these kind of issues completely. It won't have a man taking care of a child that's not his for 8 years, like this woman is saying, and then finding out later that it's not his child. Number two, he wouldn't have signed the birth certificate if he would have known there was a DNA test put right then and there. It don't matter if you're single. It don't matter if you're married. It don't matter what it is. It just should be the law. You test the mom, you test the child, and hey, everybody know the results. And then once you know the results, then you can sign the birth certificate. I believe that should happen nationally. Also, that eliminates, you know, when a woman files, let's say, child support on a man, then even though he know it's his, but he say he want a DNA test, and then he haul around about the DNA test so he can drag out the case long enough as he can so he don't have to pay child support. So you eliminate all that because once you establish a paternity, you know who the dad is. Then if any case come up like that, then you know who to go after with the child support or whatever, right? So you will also eliminate that. But also at the same time, they need to enact paternity fraud laws as well. If you know that child is not for that man, and you know who you slept with, you know it's not for that man, you should be brought up on paternity fraud. And you should go to freaking jail. Because I feel that every dime that man paid for that baby, she needs to return every dime to that man. Period. That is not right to do that to somebody. And you do have laws that, it's definitely, let's say state of Texas. If you have a wife and your wife cheat on you and get pregnant, you're presumed the father just because you're the husband. Those laws got to change because these things, you can't presume that, unfortunately. You can't presume that. Also, when she said this man was stuck paying, one thing I've learned about the legal system especially with Donald Trump of all people, is that if you just keep appealing every decision, like you appeal and say, okay, I'm appealing that. Okay, I'm appealing and keep appealing. A lot of times, if you keep appealing, you may actually get a victory instead of putting up with the first a judgment that you receive. I mean, that's what I'm learning with the Donald Trump situation. If you just keep appealing, even Tyrese, they gave him that judgment. He appealed. When he appealed, she don't have no money to fight the appeal. She has no money. So if he would have took the first judgment that they put on him, then he'd have been stuck. But when he appealed the case, now she don't have no money to fight for no appeal. So if she cannot fight for anything, it's going to end up in his favor when you start appealing. That's things that men will have to start doing today, like decisions like with child support. Like I say, if it's ridiculous, start appealing those cases immediately. But you got to have a lawyer. You have a good lawyer that can do that for you. But you guys got to be careful. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you pick the right woman. You know, I'm not saying that a woman, even though you thought you picked the right one, not saying a woman can't cheat on you. Not saying a wife can't cheat on you. Not say that. I'm not saying that at all. But I do believe mandatory DNA testing should be the law. And also paternity fraud should really be ramped up about doing this to, men. Because see, men, we're not a woman. Like I say, these women know who they lay down with. They know. And they'll sit up there and let you take care of a child. They know good and well. They know that child is not yours. They know that. They can look at that child and see that child not yours. They know it. And that's despicable. And it's not the first time we've covered these kind of, this kind of content. Because I remember before a brother had a child up to 12 years old, a couple of children, I think 2 of them. And the wife cheated on him both times with 2 different men. Yeah, I don't see how you sleep at night doing something like that to somebody. I guess I have a conscience. I can't just do somebody wrong like that and sleep good at night. I can't do that. No. You know what I'm saying? Some people are despicable. That's why mandatory DNA testing needs to be put in there now. Men need to get together and start pressing politicians to get mandatory DNA testing. We need that completely in this country if you want to have equality.